I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, it's great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here, about to blow, waiting for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up, I'm home. Whoa!
First base side of the rubber.
Oh, here's Sal.
Let's go, baby.
Get out of here. To center field, sinking fast, base hit. Here comes Frelick. It's a 2-run single for Ortiz. Black line drive back up the middle. 1 run's in. Terang's coming home. Huge hit for Tyler Black. Liner base hit. That will score 1. Hamilton stops a slight bobble. The Brewers put another quarter in the merry-go-round. On the ground left side. That'll sneak through. 1 run's in. Ortiz coming home. Busted bat. Little flare behind second base. Down. Everything's coming up, Brewers. Bowers into right center. That'll be 2 more. Contreras will score. Terang scores. Hamilton slices one down towards the left field corner. Fair ball. It hops up into the seats for an automatic double. A snowman in this 6th inning. They put up 8. 13-2. It's all Brewers tonight.
I hear the theme of welcome back Cotter. Like, hey guys, welcome back. Welcome back. Good to see you. Welcome back, Wisconsin. What's up? It's Inside Wisconsin Sports. Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht.
Hi.
Audio courtesy of our friends at Brewers TV. Jeff Levering, Vinny Rotino on the TV side last night. Winded from talking so much. 13-2, a big dub for the Brewers over the Diamondbacks. That, amongst other things, as we kick it off every day, let's play catch up.
Packers.
To 5th year or not to 5th year? Lucas Van Ness. Is it a big decision? May 1st, they have to decide whether to pick up his 5th year option for 2027. The number reported is about $13.8 million. And we know that A, there's high expectations, and B, we really could use him in the absence of Micah Parsons, especially to start the season in terms of just being the player that we think he's going to be. It doesn't have any effect on 2026, but that 5th year option for next year, Josh, should we or should we not?
Yeah, I feel like it's as much as the Packers would probably love to say this hasn't worked out and move on, they're not necessarily in a position to be able to do that either. We talk about how much they need bodies. They're familiar with LVN. They've worked with LVN. LVN knows everything. It's just we haven't seen him on the field due to injuries and then, playing time. So
he has flashes of greatness.
Right.
Flashes. And then just can't seem to give it a run, especially with the injury last year. And he came out at one point and was like, guys, do you not think I want to be out there continuing to improve? Like, he just ran into a bad luck streak there in terms of his injury. I want good things for him. I really do.
Yeah, and I want them in a Packers uniform. I think that they will figure something out. We had Wes Hockowitz on the show yesterday, and he pointed out it doesn't even need to be that they'll pick up that option. They could, do some type of deal to avoid doing that like they did for Jordan Love. But I would be very surprised if in some way, shape, or form something's not done.
The undrafted rookie free agent class is coming together. And Josh, there are many a position here that you would have said, well, I would have drafted 1 or 2 of those guys. So that's good.
Yeah. Yeah, right, because then they didn't have to use draft picks. They still get their guy.
Quarterback Kyron Jones makes it 3 now. So there's your quarterback competition in training camp. We got another running back from UCF, Jaden Nixon, a tight end, a wide receiver, actually a couple tight ends, another edge rusher, a linebacker, and a safety, plus multiple offensive linemen. Perfect.
Right. So essentially all of the depth that we talked about that didn't necessarily take place in the draft, they signed in undrafted free agents. Doesn't mean that those guys are going to be there, but at the very least, they'll fill out camp.
There's been a number of years in a row, I don't know the specific number, that the Packers have signed to the 53-man roster on day one of the regular season at least one UFDA. That's awesome.
Yeah.
For those guys and the opportunity that's before them. There are currently, reportedly, 91 on the roster, and I think you can only go into camp with 90. So, sorry to one of you.
One lonely guy.
Going to be interesting to see how it plays out. Rookie camp at the end of this week where all those guys, plus the draft picks, will show up, and everybody's going to have their eyes on Trace Mack to see if he can do what he does best.
Smack it. Yep.
How do you judge that? 2 arms in the air.
That's right. It's good.
Hey, Brewers win.
That was good.
Brewers.
13-2. So this is weird, right? Because, 13 runs and don't score them all at once, maybe.
Right. The last time that they did this, what happened the following games? They didn't score runs. So as I'm watching this, I'm like, God, this is so fun to watch this type of Brewers baseball, which we've gotten accustomed to. I need more of this, though. I don't need 13 runs every night, but I need more of this type of offensive baseball.
13 runs on 15 hits for the Brewers and only 1 home run. The majority of those runs came in the 6th, where a snowman is better on a baseball box score than my golf cart.
True.
This is how the 6th inning ended with Jeff Levering.
Inning over. Lots of runs. You get a run. You get a run. We all get runs. 8 in total for the Brewers in the 6th inning. They're up big on the Snakes.
So they started the 6th inning only up 5-2. Audio courtesy of Brewers TV.
Mm-hmm.
Finished it with all of those runs and then ultimately didn't score again. Didn't need to. I think the most impressive part about last night's game, Josh, dare I say, Joey Ortiz.
It was up there. It was tied. You gotta think it was pretty good for Sal too. But a great night for a lot of people at the plate. But I'm glad that those two were included in the onslaught.
Joey Ortiz went 2 for 4, 1 run, 2 RBI. Sal Frelick went 2 for 2 with 3 runs, 1 RBI, and he had the only home run in the game. Good to see that come back for the first time in 7 games.
Mm-hmm.
I tweeted, "Chicks dig the long ball." Welcome back, Chicks. It's been some time.
Yeah, been a minute.
I can't help but think, Josh, that Sal Frelick was listening to the program yesterday and said, "This Josh guy, go do you, dude."
Yeah. Well, if that's what it takes, I will continue to say it, Sal. You can be mad at me as long as you keep hitting dingers.
There was a moment earlier in the game with Chad Patrick, who had 5 innings pitched and threw a 1-hitter. But at one point, the medical staff was out there chit-chatting, and he mouthed, "I can't see."
Yep.
Nothing about me in that moment would have tried to tough it out.
Yeah,
Guys, hold on. Blind at the moment. Give me just a second. There we go. Got him back. All right, let's do this.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. No. What? You know what? Why don't we take an extra minute? And what the heck was that?
Or take me to the hospital.
Right. This is not something with my arm. Or,
Jeez.
Oh, man, I feel some tightness in my leg.
I'd like to think he was just a little blurred up of some sort. I literally said to Amanda, just so you know.
Mean? What's a little blurred up?
Well, I mean, we've all had that. Blurry vision. Can't quite see straight. Maybe he was dehydrated and he got the tunnel vision thing going.
Sure.
That. But I said to Amanda in the middle of it, I said, just so you know, if at any point I say to you, "I can't see," call 911. Don't let me try to tough anything out. Don't give me a minute. Like, nothing about me would have been like, "Oh, totally normal. Hold on. Happens all the time."
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I probably would be that dumb to tell Julie, "No, I'll probably be fine." She's just smart enough to go, "No, you're not."
No, not really, actually.
No.
Another game tonight and then tomorrow as well against the Diamondbacks before the crew hits the road to Washington later in the week. Jake Woodford, by the way, 3 innings pitched, only gave up 2 hits. He's the new, who was the guy that Uke always said he pitches like he's double parked?
Oh,
He played for the Reds for a little bit. Now I think he's out on the West Coast. Starts with a B. Brett Suter. Nailed it. I was thinking about that last night going, this is our garbage ball guy, the new Brent Suter, who I think is great, by the way.
Yeah, Brett Suter's awesome.
One more update from the Brewers' perspective. We got news yesterday. Left fielder Jackson Chourio and first baseman Andrew Vaughn, per Adam McCalvy, each have been sidelined by fractured bones in their left hand. They're en route to AAA Nashville and are scheduled to begin a rehab assignment with the Sounds on Wednesday night. If all goes to plan, Chourio and Vaughn will each play the first 5 innings today against Norfolk at 6:35 Central. Let us pray.
Okay.
Dear God,
Mm-hmm.
we watched Woody try to come back from this stuff for some time, and it didn't go well. If you could just control the Norfolk pitchers and not bean Vaughn or Chourio anywhere near their hands. Leg, cool. Back, whatever. Leave their hands alone. Go Brewers. Amen.
Amen.
I feel like we need to do that every segment or at least once an hour. We really need those guys back.
I mean, we do. It will absolutely help. I would prefer to just also see the team that we saw on the field yesterday continue to do things. Even if it was like, I don't know, 60% of those things, they'd be putting themselves in a better position to win some baseball games.
Very woodpeckery. I guess that's what we'll take.
That's what this team is. It's what this team's supposed to be anyway.
All right. Badgers typically here, but let's call it NCAA.
Badgers.
NCAA.
Tournament edition expansion. I know that you're not well. We'll talk about this ad nauseum, and I have questions because there are a plenty of questions as to who, what, when, where, why, how.
Mm-hmm.
I did not expect you to be as twisted about this as you are. So maybe just Cliff Notes version here. Why does this upset you so?
Because the tournament is perfect. Leave it alone. The reason
now or at 64?
At 64, how it was was great. Leave it there. This is what every sports league has done over the last 10. They're finding new little ways to change the game, and they're going, "Oh, it's not about money." No. It's not. It's always in some way, shape, or form about money. Always, and they can't just leave the game alone. And I've been begging for years, okay, you're going to change this, fine. Okay, you're going to change this. To stay away from my tournament. Stay away from my March Madness tournament. And they had up until yesterday. And I'm going, damn it. They finally got to the tournament.
In case you missed it, they're expanding the NCAA tournament, likely to start with the 2027 NCAA tournament. That's the next one.
Uh-huh.
68 teams to 76 teams, meaning the, quote, Final Four that they used to call it, or the first four, I should say, that's just going to go away, and it's going to be an opening round. 12 opening round games on Tuesday and Wednesday, right after Selection Sunday, and then the first round? Can you have a first round after an opening round?
I mean, you did, right? They always still had the first 4 and then the first round. So that'll stay the same. But it's, hey, we're not getting enough of these schools that are well-known, that played against each other, that are losing spots to conference champions. So let's just have them play beforehand. Make sure that their schools are getting time, airtime, TV time, and an opportunity to still make it into this round of 64.
That's where it all comes from. It's the power conference pressure. The Big Ten, the SEC, the Big 12, the ACC, etc. They want more of their bubble teams in. That's the real undercurrent to all of this, because if they get in, what else do they get? money.
Yep.
And if they get more money, they can get better players. And maybe all of this wouldn't be a problem. You know who it doesn't help? Green Bay, Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Any other mid-major team. I don't think
any Cinderella story.
By adding those, what is it, 12 more teams?
Well, it's going from what? It's going from 68 or what? 70. What did you say? I think 8 more teams.
6, 8, 9. Yeah, 8 more teams. None of that means more mid-majors.
No.
None.
No. Essentially, they're saying, hey, the first 4 is now the Power 5 preview. Just call it that, because that's what it's going to be. And then those teams are going to be slotted in to destroy the mid-majors. Cool. Thank you. Thank you for nothing.
Wait a minute. Did the NBA get something right here?
No, I don't. Fine. Is that what we're doing now?
Bucks.
Typically. I mean, that's what we do daily. Typically, we move on to the Bucks.
I'm not ready to move on.
Well, I have questions, and we want to get your feedback on the NCAA tournament expansion. 414-677-1250. That's the Nicolay Law talk and text line. We're going to go at it. The NCAA is expanding from 68 to 76. How do you feel? What questions do you have? Comments, concerns? That's coming up, and I have questions at the bottom of the hour. The NBA is getting something right, we think. They are revealing and soon to be voting on a new anti-tanking idea called the 3-2-1 lottery. The basic concept is this: we have to stop rewarding teams for being the absolute worst. So the lottery expands, which is, I guess, a good thing, from 14 to 16 teams. Right now, the lottery's 14, all non-playoff teams. But under the proposal, it would include 16 teams, adding in the play-in losers.
Yep.
So you get to make the playoffs-ish.
Yeah, if you count the play-in games as playoffs.
Which, isn't that full circle back to the NCAA thing? Do you count the play-in games as the tournament?
Nope.
If we add those 2 teams, it goes up to 16, and then essentially the teams that appear to be tanking will get fewer lottery balls. Those teams that lose the 7 versus 8 play-in games each get 1 lottery ball. But the bottom 3 teams in the league, the so-called relegation zone is what the NBA is calling it, they will only get 2 lottery balls. And then 3 go to the rest. So essentially it's the NBA's way of saying you don't want to be the worst. Your odds of getting a lottery pick actually go down if you're the worst team in the NBA.
This to me screamed, okay, so tanking will still happen, but just like not as big of tanking. Like teams are going to be like, okay, lose. No, win. No, lose. Win. Stop. Okay, good.
Are you describing what tanking will look like, or the Bucks this past season? Because is that not the way it went for the Bucks?
Yeah, but the Bucks did it with no motive. The Bucks did it with not this rule. That's what was so confusing. Was the Bucks ended up in no man's land when there wasn't this type of plan in place, when you wanted to just tank as hard as you could. That's what was so frustrating. So yes, you're going to see more teams tanking, but then probably having to try a little bit more and then tank again. And then it's just going to be this back and forth competition of teams, and fans will still be able to tell. They'll be like, oh, well, that team needs to win 2 more games to make sure that they get out of the bottom 3, or that team is, wherever they are. Like that will be the line, the conversation. It still won't be teams trying their hardest. It'll just be whatever the bottom 3 teams are going to play a little bit harder to get out of that 3rd spot. Everyone will be playing for 4th worst instead of the worst. Yay.
Well, it's a start.
It's
got to start somewhere. All right. Anything else?
Yeah, I had something else.
Anything else?
What do you got?
Did you see this? I saw this on social media, and somehow apparently made the local news down here, of a group of people who went to the Brewer game last night and brought in spaghetti. Did you see this?
Zach in Milwaukee on Twitter literally brought spaghetti sauce
in a
noodles
Ziploc bag.
that were obviously pre-cooked.
In a Ziploc
And
bag.
what's that?
All of this in individual Ziploc bags.
Right. And literally garlic bread.
Yep.
This is going to come up in Would You Rather later.
For me too. Yep.
It's a beautiful thing. The fact that AmFam Field allows you to bring your own food in so families can actually afford to go to games. It is clear these individuals are sitting in the 400 section.
Yep.
I have questions about the choice of tank top said individual in the picture is wearing.
Don't think he cared.
He does not, based on the amount of Fu Manchu this dude's rocking.
Yep.
Is there a stop and a start to this? Listen, when we were kids, we used to take in peanut butter jelly sandwiches or our own chips. We would bring in our own peanuts. There may have been a soda or two with a sealed bottle, if memory serves me right. This is a bit much, and yet there's a piece of me that goes, damn, I wish I would have thought of that.
Yeah, brilliant. There was so for the last couple of years, I've hosted a meetup of my shirt nerd friends, and we, from all over the country, and they come in, and I take them to a Brewer game. And at the last one, we had a tailgate, and we had the serving trays out, and there was a big one that had mac and cheese, and there was like a third of it left. And one of the guys, Jacob, I didn't even realize this until we're in the stadium, brought that serving tray of the mac and cheese that was left. Like, it's in a big tin tray. And he was like, what, you think I wasn't going to bring this in and eat it? And I was like, I mean, you're making good points. I guess it made me ask the question, which maybe I have questions. What's the limit there? What's that boundary? Tin of mac and cheese, spaghetti in individual Ziploc bags that you're bringing for a whole family of 8 with plates. Everyone gets a piece of garlic bread. Have a nice meal here. Hey, who's got the Parmesan cheese? Pass that down. What's the limit to where then the Brewers go, okay, all right, hold on. We gotta cut this off. That's too far. What is it?
This was seen by a lot of people. And it, to your point, only leads me to believe that they're going to try to up the ante here. But you're right. They brought in their own paper plates. They had the Parmesan cheese. They had all of the things that you would need to have just a fantastic time in the ballpark. The problem is 76,000 people alone on Twitter saw this, plus it hit the news. So I don't know about you, but next time I go to a game, there will be a ribeye in my pocket.
So that was So that was my question. Like, do you push it to where you have a steak? Is it to where you have a group of 6 people, everyone's bringing in a serving tray, and before you get to your seats, you set it up and everyone scoops out their plates? What? This is crazy.
It would be
I just never thought about it. Like,
it would
this
be a
hard.
real bummer if Getty was the one that ruined it all.
Yeah.
Like, nobody brought in lobster or steaks.
Do you think the Brewers do something about this? Do you think they go, all right, guys, hold on, we can't?
How do they?
I don't know, but I hope they don't. I mean, they put them all in clear plastic bags.
They followed the rules.
Right.
And if you're the Brewers, why do you care? What's the difference between that and bringing in a sandwich or bringing in chips or peanuts? You get to bring in your own food if you follow the rules.
Right. The only thing I think of is then what's next? What's next? Because I think something like this, a move like this, makes people think, oh, well, hey, if they got away with a whole spaghetti dinner, we could get away with blank, blank, blank.
Cool.
Yeah. And at
I'm
some
in for
point,
this is fun.
Oh, I love it. I can't. This is going to become a thing. This does not end at spaghetti. I promise you that.
When they regulate it, right? Like, you can only bring in a sandwich cut in triangles on white or wheat.
Right.
And, peanut allergy. It can't be peanut butter and jelly. It has to be, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, where is it? If they really start, where does it stop is my question.
The only thing I thought of was the sauce. The sauce is what got me of, because the sauce could be like a little bit of a liquid, and then if it's because you can't bring in like a
glass.
Well, also, aren't all the like sodas or anything, aren't those supposed to be not open? Like, aren't they
sealed,
supposed to still be sealed? So like you can't seal a bag of spaghetti sauce, right? Because you made it and you put it in the bag. And I'm wondering, like, The sauce was the thing that got me to where I'm like, are they going to question that as an open liquid and go, no, you can't bring in the sauce. And then you're just eating dry noodles with bread.
A plastic Prego container that you boil in the parking lot and put it in a heat sealed bag.
Just put it on the top of your car. Oh yeah, that's getting nice and toasty. That'll be ready by game time.
That kind of grosses me out, actually.
Oh, just
This whole
tailgate. Just tailgate.
The NCAA tournament expansion grosses Josh out mightily.
True.
So that's the question we have. The field of how many? How do you feel about the expansion of the NCAA tournament as early as this coming season from 68 to 76? That's an I Have Questions. Amongst your questions and our answers, when we get back, we're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Good morning.
When things just don't add up, Trevor and Josh ask the hard questions or just point out how messed up stuff is.
I only have one question. Can you fly this plane and land it?
Surely you can't be serious. Do you view this season as a failure?
You asked me the same question last year.
What's the most important question the Badgers have to answer Saturday?
This is a great question. Oh my God, this is a great question.
It's time for I Have Questions on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Talk and Text Line. Time for I Have Questions. We want yours, and there are plenty in our Nicolay Law Talk and Text Line for us to review. But the main question this morning is, NCAA, why can't you get anything right at this point?
Just stay out of your own way.
There's a book that says, here are all the things to do to completely screw the game. And let's do all of these things. Next on the list, expand the NCAA tournament from 68 teams to 76 teams. What? Why? I mean, we know why. We can't possibly be asking ourselves why. But it's more like, why stop there? Or where do you stop?
Have a backbone. This is what this came down to. This was pressure from the Power 5 schools that said, hey, NCAA, we're the ones that make you the most money, and we are not getting to be represented in the biggest tournament of the year because too many of these spots are going to the mid-majors and smaller schools. We need to be represented. Otherwise, we're going to take our ball and go home, and we'll figure our own thing out. And then you'll be left with just mid-major programs. And the NCAA went, okay. We'll give a few more spots for those teams, for your schools to be represented, to be on TV, to get that marketing that this tournament does so much for these schools. We'll add a few more spots so that you guys can get your time in the spotlight. I love this from the 920 on the Nicolay Law Fan Talking Text Line. It says, under 500 coaches at under 500 Big Ten and SEC schools got exactly what they wanted. That essentially, that's what this is you look at these Power 5 schools, and the ones that played against other Power 5 schools, but their record didn't show for it, and they're having to fight the strength of schedule argument against the mid-majors that got those at-large bids, which, if you really think about it, Trevor, how many non-Power 5 schools truly get an at-large bid every year?
None.
But maybe like one or two, and it's usually, you're right, usually it's none. Maybe there's one or two. Like, if you see, like, what we saw the Miami, Ohio this year, right? They got an at-large bid because they were undefeated through the entire regular season.
They had to.
Correct. But now they can put Miami, Ohio in this pre-tournament, make their life more difficult, put them up against another Power 5 school that doesn't really matter, and have them be eliminated, and they don't even get to see the round of 64 because now they added this to go, okay, the Power 5s are saying, yeah, mid-major, it doesn't matter what you did because we still had a harder strength of schedule. You guys just play each other, and you can't get mad at us for it now. That sucks. This isn't a solution. This is the NCAA saying, we don't want to be the bad guy. We're dad, and we don't want to deal with this problem the right way, so we're just going to give both of you kids what you want and shove you out of the room, not realizing this isn't actually solving the issue.
We know that this has a lot to do with money in terms of TV too, right? I mean, this creates more inventory for TV, more options to watch games. It's just a new revenue source. But I also think behind the scenes, this may have been a give and take. The NCAA is approving and trying to move forward the idea that you have a 5-year window to play college athletics from the time you graduate high school or are 19, I believe, through the next 5 years. That's it. And there's been a ton of fighting over stuff like that. You can't tell me how many years I can and can't play. Well, okay, pause. maybe there's a way for us to try to rectify the situation. Let's expand the NCAA playoffs in the two major sports. That'll give you guys more opportunity to be seen, more opportunity to make more money. The schools will make more money. The kids will make more money. But we have to start regulating something. So is this a little bit of a give and take? Because at the end of the day, more playing games really, Josh, doesn't affect the tournament. Playing more games on Tuesday. More games on Tuesday and Wednesday doesn't affect the hold on. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That's the tournament. So more playing games before the tournament to get into said tournament doesn't, to me, affect the tournament. You're having teams play each other that may or may not have gotten into the tournament to begin with. So let the bubble teams fight it out on Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm totally cool with that. Don't touch Thursday through early April when the Final Four is. What you do to decide what teams get into the tournament, I don't care.
See, that's where we disagree. Because this is a way for those Cinderellas to no longer make the tournament that we all want to watch. The reason why Thursday, Friday, Saturday, at least Thursday, Friday, are so great is because you can see those upsets. You learn about the schools that aren't usually there. I don't need to see a blue blood that had an off year for the first time in 10 years still make the tournament because they had a second chance to go up against a program that was a mid-major that just didn't win their conference tournament. And because of that, now they have to go through the gauntlet just to get in, even though they had an amazing regular season. When you go to the Nicolay Law Fan Talk and Text line, 414-677-1250, the 920 says the Power 5 want to make this unbearable to watch to the point where the NCAA says, fine, do what you want, have your own league. All we're doing is kissing the ring of these conferences. This is also a TV issue because, quote-unquote, analysts will say this is really what people want. No, we want Cinderellas. I agree with 920. Having that mixture of seeing the teams in the first round dominate some of the mid-majors, you go, okay, yep, that's a team that deserved to be a number one seed. We're going to see them at least in the Elite Eight. But also you get to see teams, you get to see 5-12 upsets. Obviously, we didn't like this year with the Badgers, but you get to see those 5-12 upsets. You get to see the occasional 2-15, 3-14. You get to see those moments that live on, that make the one shining moment video. If you don't have that mixture and it's just straight chalk or more straight chalk, not looking at the numbers, but looking at the schools and their pedigrees, because they added things like this, it's going to make Thursday and Friday less enjoyable.
Do you not think, though, by adding more teams that were on the bubble, it actually gives the Cinderella story a better chance because those teams are more beatable? Those are the more beatable teams in the tournament for Cinderellas to actually beat versus the major schools that the current Cinderellas are up against when they get in the 14, 15, 16 seeds.
No, because the Cinderella it's a Cinderella. It's not a guarantee. It's watching David beat Goliath. That's what makes it so exciting. If before David can even get to Goliath, he's got to face 3 other schools, loses to one of them, and then has a well-known name school ends up making it in its place. Now we never got to see that Cinderella because they put a mid-major as a 70, I don't know what you want to, whatever it would be, would be like a 17 versus Power 5 that's also a 17 seed. And then you're like, okay, cool. So then the 17 seed that's the Power 5 goes on. Okay, cool. So now if they slide in to whatever spot that would be in the tournament, however they figure this out in the 64, I'm not looking at their little number and going, wow, what a crazy upset that, I don't know, take your pick, that North Carolina on an off year still found a way to come back and beat Missouri. What an upset. No, it's North Carolina. They should have been there in the first place. They got in just because they put this new BS tournament in place. It's not good. It's not good for the Thursday, Friday. It's not good for what made this tournament special.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line. When we get back, good are Sal Frelick home runs. You'll hear that in the most electrifying sound of the day. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
It's time for
The most electrifying,
Sound of the Day
the most electrifying.
on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Brought to you by Best Electric. Learn more at bestelect.com. Don't stress. Connect with the best.
First base side of the rubber.
Oh, here's Sal.
Let's go, baby.
Get out of here. First one
There we go.
in 8 games. You brought
Let's
the
go,
blood,
baby.
Kyle.
There it is. Let's go.
Second home run of the season for Sal Frelick, and the Brewers have the lead.
Sal Frelick's home run call, courtesy of Jeff Levering and Brewers TV, is the most electrifying sound of the day, brought to you by our friends at Best Electric. Remember, no job is too big or too small for Best Electric. Don't stress. Connect with the best. Call them today or visit bestelect.com. Obviously loved seeing that they got a homer finally, Trev. Loved that it was Sal who was one of the guys that needed a pop, needed something to get going, right? We've been starting to question him along with Joey Ortiz and Rengifo and a few others. I did think it was a little funny, though, that the first time that there's a home run in however many games, and it happens to be when they're talking to Kyle Harrison, and they're like, you could just tell in that call from Jeff, it's like, oh, I need to do this call, but also we're in the middle of an interview. Man, for the first time in forever, though, a home run. This is great. Don't you think so, Kyle?
And Kyle's very straight. Yeah.
Oh, let's go. All
Yeah,
right.
he's very, very dialed in. Pitcher with no personality there, at least not on TV. Maybe he was nervous. He also looks super young, doesn't he?
Yeah, of course.
Kyle Harrison.
Yeah. Oh, let's go. Way to go. Yep. Let's go.
That was early in the game. Second inning for Sal. Homer to right center off of Merrill Kelly. And that was when the fight started for the Diamondbacks. It got close. The Diamondbacks scored 2 in the top of the 5th, but then 10 runs in the next 2 innings, including 8 in the 6th. Said, yeah, home runs are cool and fun and people love them, but we can score 12 more runs just by being woodpeckers.
Yep.
Somebody on the Nicolay Law talking text line, 414-677-1250. I think it was Annie in Oconomowoc or Oconto or both. Maybe she has a cabin up north. She said, maybe that's where we take the whole Brewers City Connect uniform idea and call it the Wisco Woodpeckers and add a woodpecker or something along the lines on keep on pecking. Because that's exactly what the Brewers did yesterday.
Yeah, that would be good. Also, I'm all for adding anything to that uniform because they're still over when wearing the Wisco uniform. They need a win in the Wisco jersey. It is not a good record. There's a Twitter account that literally tallies the Brewers win-loss record in each jersey that they wear throughout the season. Over for the Wisco. Not good. Not good.
Good to see a home run for Sal, and good to see the opportunity to get a cute home run or two from our guy Jackson Churio and Andrew Vaughn. They play today in Nashville. It would be great to get those bats back in the lineup. Could come as early as within the next week, they say.
Yeah, scheduled for May 4th, next week, Monday. We'll see about that.
Yelly's still towards the end of May. But those 3 bats, think about that, Josh, are 3 of the top 5 bats the Brewers have. And the way the season started with home runs has just not been the case. Last night, the first one in 7 games, because the big bats just aren't there.
Right. They're hurt. We're going to hopefully get 2 of them back sooner than later.
Coming up in the Malott Meets Morning Mind Dump, we'll continue the conversation, get it all off our chest and out of our heads about this NCAA tournament expansion from 68 to 76, and it's going to happen as early as this season, the 26-27 season for the 27 NCAA tournament. We want you to have your arguments heard on the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line, 414-677-1250, and whatever else you have to get off your chest and out of your head, including the current quarterback situation for our Green Bay Packers. They signed an undrafted free agent quarterback. That's 3 now behind Jordan Love. And have we been, speaking of, spoiled with Malik Willis? Goody in his press conference said that the backup quarterback position is the most important and hardest job in the NFL. So, as we look at the backup quarterback situation in Green Bay now, do we think one of these three guys can take that role on? Or do we see Goody making a move and signing one of the three to the practice squad? Probably Ritter.
Yep.
Is somebody going to wow us in camp? And how much weight are we accidentally giving this that it maybe doesn't deserve because we just watched Malik Willis for 2 years make some people think, damn, should he be starting over Jordan Love? I didn't, but many did.
Same. Yeah, it was definitely an argument that was made. Let's talk about it.
414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Talk and Text Line. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I'd like to say a realist.
Oh, great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here, about to blow, waiting for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up, I'm home. Whoa!
First base side of the rubber.
Oh, here's Sal.
Let's go, baby.
Get out of here. To center field, sinking fast, base hit. Here comes Frelick. It's a 2-run single for Ortiz. Black line drive back up the middle. 1 run's in. Terang's coming home. Huge hit for Tyler Black. Liner base hit. That will score 1. Hamilton stops a slight bobble. The Brewers put another quarter in the merry-go-round. On the ground left side. That'll sneak through. 1 run's in. Ortiz coming home. Busted bat. Little flare. Behind second base. Down. Everything's coming up, Brewers. Bowers into right center. That'll be 2 more. Contreras will score. Terang scores. Hamilton slices one down towards the left field corner. Fair ball. It hops up into the seats for an automatic double. A snowman in this 6th inning. They put up 8. 13-2. It's all Brewers tonight.
And hopefully it stays all Brewers for the next few weeks because it does not get easier from here. 2 more against the Diamondbacks after a good dub last night, 13-2, audio courtesy of Brewers TV. Then off to the Nationals and St. Louis before they're back home against, oh goody, the Yankees and the Padres. What's up, Wisconsin? Welcome in Hour 2 Inside Wisconsin Sports. Trevor Thomas, Josh Albrecht.
Hi.
And all of you on the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line. That number, 414-677-1250 across the state of Wisconsin on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. What's up, Wausau? Good morning to you guys on 93.9 The Game. 710 The Game up in Duluth Superior. 99.7 FM WNFL in Green Bay and the Fox Valley. And 1250 AM and 105.7 FM The Fan in Milwaukee, where Big Time Tommy works.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, big time.
Billboard Big Time Tommy.
I just call him Big Time now. He's so big time, we don't even have time to say Tommy. He's too big time.
Awesome to see his mug on a billboard in the Milwaukee area promoting the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network and all the work he does pre and post for Brewers baseball, which last night must have been pretty fun after a 13-2 win. It's the top of the 7 o'clock hour. We have a lot to get off our chest and out of our head. What's up with the backup QB position? Why no draft picks? And are we really expanding the NCAA tournament again? Why? Where does it stop? So much not to carry with us on this Wednesday. Time for the Malott Meats Morning Mind Dump.
I hear voices in my head, they counsel me, they understand, they talk to me.
The coffee has kicked in. We're awake and ready to roll. Let's get some things off our chest and out of our heads.
You don't know what it's like to be me out here for you. It is an up at dawn, pride-swallowing siege that I will never fully tell you about, okay?
I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not gonna take this anymore!
I'm in a glass case of emotion.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
We've got no food, we got no jobs, our pets' heads are falling off!
It's time for the Morning Mind Dump, presented by Malott Meats. High-quality meats at a fair price, safely delivered to your front door. To learn more, visit WisconsinMeatMarket.com. Experience the power of the family meal with Malott Meats on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Just a few days left to capitalize on the Malott Meats Meat of the Month, the tenderloin. Head to WisconsinMeatMarket.com and grab those tenderloins and get them shipped safely direct to your front door for Mom on Mother's Day, because God, the weather's going to be fine by early May, right?
Don't jinx it.
You can grill. I think Doug can come on the show here in a little while, and finally we can say winter's over. I think there's no way there's going to be a pound of snow between now and Mother's Day. None.
I don't know. I'm not going to say that. I'm definitely not going to say that.
Eternal optimist. 414-677-1250, the Nicolay Law Talk and text line. Two things are top of mind this morning as we get things off our chest and out of our head as we start this Wednesday. And those two things are, what's up with the backup quarterback position in the Green Bay Packers QB room, having signed another quarterback to the roster, at least for training camp for now, in an undrafted rookie free agent signing. And then what's up with this expansion of the NCAA tournament, which I think is probably going to take up the majority of the morning mind dump this morning with Malat Meats. So why don't we start with the QB talk, Josh? Knowing that there was a question from Schneidman in the pre-draft press conference with Brian Gutekunst, where he brought up that every other year, seemingly, it seems like the Packers draft a backup quarterback, or at least to get more bodies in that room. This year, not so much. As a matter of fact, the two picks where we kind of possibly could have picked one got traded up for a kicker. Now, they signed one in the undrafted rookie free agent category. That just happened the other day with Kyron Drones. And there's Kyle McCord and Desmond Ridder, who is the likely veteran backup that's going to be behind Love. But maybe the morning mind dump is, speaking of spoiled, were we spoiled with Malik Willis? And part of me goes, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely we were. And that's why it's a concern. Because if anything, Malik Willis helped expose what really happens when you don't have a skilled backup QB in comparison to when you do. We've gone through it, not as much as other teams, but usually in the NFL, if your starting quarterback goes down, your season is tanked. It's over. If your quarterback is down for a long time, if they're out for the rest of the season, a lot of times teams aren't even going to their backup QB. They're going to find a different QB to try to salvage the season. It's only for a couple weeks at a time that they'll go to a backup QB for a couple of weeks if the injury isn't going to be season ending. And that's telling about what that backup quarterback position truly is. With Malik Willis, Packers didn't have to worry about that. He could come in for a game or two, then be out, then 6 weeks later come back for another game. Whatever it was based on Jordan Love's injuries, Malik was able to be there and still give the Packers a chance and then end up winning the game. That was huge for them. And we've experienced when we don't have that with when Rodgers was out and we had Brett Hundley in. God, those were some hard games to watch. And looking at what the Packers have right now for backup QB, Trev, I don't think that this screams, yeah, we're going to make sure that there's some type of backup QB that still gives us a chance to win games. Desmond Ridder is who's going to be there, and it's competition that, quote unquote, what Goody loves to have is competition at camp. That's the other two guys. All three of them aren't guys that are going to make Packers fans feel confident should something happen to Jordan Love. If Jordan Love, God forbid, knock on every single piece of wood that exists, gets injured at some point this season, I would be stunned if the Packers' plan was, all right, well, this is why we have Desmond Ridder. We're going to ride with him for the next 12 games. I don't see that being the case. With Malik Willis, they absolutely would have.
We didn't know that, though, when Malik Willis first came to town. It was weird. Like right before the season, we picked him up. Believe we traded for him. Who's this guy? Ooh, he did not have a good few years there in Nashville. That didn't go well. None of us were real sure. But then when given the right opportunity with the right coaching staff and Matt LaFleur, who's kind of a QB savant, he turned into something absolutely incredible, both from a throwing and running perspective. And maybe that was just the way this offense was set up, was for a guy like him to do well. In regard to the current backups, though, to your point, Josh, with Desmond Ridder, there's a guy who is in year 4 of his NFL career, has had some starts, was a former higher round draft pick than some of these other guys who are a 6th round or a 7th round. I mean, there was 3 quarterbacks drafted in this draft this year in the 7th round. The idea of Ritter being the guy makes sense, but these other 2 dudes, one of them, if they so chose, is going to end up on the practice squad. The Packers don't carry 3 quarterbacks anymore. It'll be 2. But don't be surprised if there's a surprise. Remember, Brian Braum and Matt Flynn is a great example of you just don't know. Braum, a high 2nd round pick back in the 2009 timeframe when Rodgers was the starter and Favre was doing his waffle thing. And then in the 7th round, Matt Flynn gets drafted and beats out Brian for the backup job. Brian goes on the practice squad, spends a year on the practice squad, is given one more camp the following year and gets cut.
Yeah, but Matt Flynn and Malik Willis are the exception to the rule. In my world of realism, you got to understand that's very difficult to make as a common theme, to have that happen year after year with a backup QB. If it was that easy, every team would have a stellar backup QB. The reason why teams a lot of time their season end when a backup QB comes in is because they're not good enough to be a starting quarterback. And then it shows when those teams play against teams with a starting quarterback. And so, yeah, you do have the Matt Flynn examples. You do have the Malik Willis examples. But you don't have a lot of those. There aren't as many as there are the backup QBs that come in and blow it. Kind of like, to your point, though, what Malik Willis was in Tennessee when he comes in, and it's not enough to get that starting job. I think that I'm not mad at Goody for going about it the way he did to get quarterbacks. I think it's unrealistic to assume that the Packers are going to be able to get a backup quarterback anywhere near what Malik Willis is and was for this team. It's difficult to have 2 really good quarterbacks on one roster. Plain and simple.
Somewhere, Brock Purdy says, "Hold my beer."
Yeah, well, but even then, how long did Brock Purdy wait as the backup QB? Right?
But the last pick in the draft is my point.
Right.
Like, we don't get to choose who's going to be able to do what from wherever. Hashtag Donald Driver, 7th round pick.
Sure.
Definitely top 5 best draft picks in Packers history.
Yeah, of course.
Total given.
You would say that. Who wouldn't say that?
Ritter, though, could surprise people. And according to the Nicolay Law talk and text line, 414-677-1250, Ritter beat GB too from the 414. Backups are mostly about coaching. Think of all the backups that Holmgren developed and then moved on from the 262. That was the backup era. But I guess the good news, Josh, is we really don't know, and hopefully we don't need to know.
Right.
Hopefully we can have a season where Jordan Love actually stays healthy the entire time, and here's a guy that we can just ride the pine with who's great for the scout team. That's what matters most.
The 414 says, let me give a bit of a pushback. Even if they are a backup, they made it to the NFL, but I get your point, Josh. Right. I'm not saying that they're complete scraboons out there, right? And they're walking around like you and I would. Obviously, they were good enough to, in some way, shape, or form, get invited to camp, get a position as the backup quarterback. But I'm talking about if you're a backup quarterback, you're there and you're insurance. You're an insurance policy. And it's what is the insurance you're getting? If you have an insurance policy in Malik Willis, hey, your season might be saved, even if your guy's out. If you don't have someone that's a caliber of Malik Willis, then insurance policy might not mean a whole lot beyond, we're still playing football games. They're not meaningful football games. We're just playing football games. That's a big difference. Huge difference.
Well, they're just playing basketball games. There's just a few more basketball games than the NCAA tournament. As the news comes out yesterday that they're expanding from 68 to 76. 8 more teams. The Nicolay Law talking text line has some thoughts on this. 414-677-1250, as do Josh and I. And the main one being this from the 920. I'm fine with the NCAA field expansion to the 76 as long as the play-in games are for at-large teams. Teams that get an automatic bid should have to play in to make it into the tournament. Shouldn't have to play in, meaning they're playing Thursday and Friday no matter what. I love that. And that's what I said as we closed out last hour. I think hopefully, and we don't know, and by the way, this isn't even a for sure thing yet, but boy, when you mess with people's March Madness, undies bundled for sure.
Yeah.
I would love for these teams to play each other. But even then, is that going to make them happy? Are the Power 5 conferences that are currently going, well, we want more of our teams, or we shouldn't have been on the bubble? And it's the same thing as the expansion of the NCAA football tournament. There's still going to be teams bitching that they didn't get in.
Sure.
So it's really never going to fix the problem. But I don't have a problem with adding more games to Tuesday and Wednesday because I don't care about them now.
For me, it's a problem that's been happening more and more over the years, but we saw it. I brought up the Miami, Ohio example of the biggest area that this hurts is the mid-major teams that had amazing seasons that didn't win their tournament. This affects the UWGBs strongly. This affects those teams in the smaller conferences that play their entire year as it is, knowing, hey, if we don't win our conference tournament, we're not making it to the big show. That will still be the case, but worse here. Because now, if there is a team that is in that type of scenario, like we saw with Miami, Ohio, this is an easy way for the committee to just go, well, great. Send them to the Power 5 dogs. Send them to the dogs. You want to get in? Fine. You got to play all these teams because they don't have to deal with it. When it used to be that school would get in because they deserved to be in based on their record, based on what they did, regardless of the strength of schedule.
But that's assuming that a conference like the Horizon League is more apt to have an automatic bid and one of their teams go in. And that's just not plausible. The Miami of Ohio thing this past year was an anomaly. That just doesn't happen. There's no reason, though, for me to believe that even in the Power 5 schools that have these teams that are on the bubble, they're not taking the place of a UW Green Bay, who is not in the top 25, who could finish second or third in the Horizon League. Those teams aren't going to get more bids regardless. It's the teams that were on the bubble that are in the Power 5s that they're saying, yeah, you know what? The tournament would be better with these teams in it. I don't think this, I mean, granted, I think it gives a better chance for a team like UW Green Bay, but they would have to be above in the season-long rankings, in wins and losses, in high-quality wins, in order for them to bump one of the teams that we're talking about, one of the 8 new teams. They would have to be a shoo-in for an automatic or for an at-large bid anyway. I just don't see these 8 teams from those Power 5 conferences taking the place of somebody in the MAC or the Horizon League or teams like the Bradleys and the Buffaloes. They're going to have to get in to win their tournament. And that was the case when it was 64. It was the case when it went to 68. And this will be no different. This is just about those major Power 5 conferences getting more teams in so that there's more inventory time, those schools make more money, the NIL budgets increase. And unfortunately for people like the 920 who go, hey, great, expand to 76. GB has a chance. Sure. And GB would have to do what Miami of Ohio did this year and be that much above and beyond the rest of the NCAA, including these teams on the bubble and the Power 5 conferences, for this to matter to us. I just don't think it affects anything.
I think it will. I think it also gives these Power 5 schools that don't deserve to be there a shot to make a run. And I think that could also end up playing a factor in how we enjoy the tournament. If a team that wasn't even supposed to be there now eliminates someone because they had one good game against a team that did deserve it. There's a whole lot more that goes into it than just, we're going to get to see more Power 5 schools play each other first. They're still getting an opportunity to play in the round of 64. I don't like it. It's an unnecessary change. It really still comes down to satisfying the Power 5 schools that just are whining to the NCAA.
And they're the ones, I guess, that matter most, because without them, there is no NCAA. And that's probably where some of this is headed. Let's be real. I mean, eventually, unless significant regulation gets put in place, people have been saying this for years, that the NCAA just won't even be a thing anymore. The 414 says between this and the NBA lottery expansion, basketball as a whole needs a whole organizational reset. It didn't need that before the NIL in college, if you ask me personally. I thought it was fine. And by the way, does the term Cinderella only apply to mid-major schools? Or is the idea of Cinderella a low-seeded team? Why can't one of these new 8 teams with a low seed be a Cinderella?
If they have a pedigree, it just doesn't hit the same. If there's a team that, like, we've had that, where a North Carolina or a Syracuse, one of these schools that absolutely we know has enough money and has put a program together, but has an off season, still gets in to the first 4 as an 11 seed. They get in the play-in game and they go on and they win. And you go, okay, you're an 11 seed, but you shouldn't be there at all. So then if that 11 beats the 6, yeah, technically it's an upset, but it's not a Cinderella. It's just a school with a pedigree that snuck their way in and then kept going.
So then what is a Cinderella?
A Cinderella is a school that you don't even know, that is that mid-major, that is that David versus Goliath matchup. You know, that's why a lot of people even were questioning the 5-12 upset that the Badgers suffered. Who was the school that beat them? I blocked it out of my mind. Whoever it is, a lot of people said that they didn't even deserve to be called a Cinderella because of all the money that went into their program, and that they were, as much as of an unknown as they were, they absolutely had the tools to put together a program that would beat a team like the Badgers. I personally would say this year there wasn't even a Cinderella in the tournament that advanced. Like, it was pretty chalk or just a good program that had an upset.
Wait and see, I guess. The good news is that it does pose many a would you rather questions. Hello, Would You Rather Wednesday. That's next on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's kind of a careful what you wish for thing. Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh on that very Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Those studios powered by that Potawatomi Sportsbook. Careful what you wish for with expanding the tournament to 76 teams, NCAA. Would you rather, Josh, this or two separate tournaments of 32 at two separate locations and times and all the things? So it's really take it or leave it.
Yeah, no, I would rather take this. I still hate it, but and a lot of people are afraid that that's where this is going. Is it's going to end up to where there's going to be a essentially a mid-major tournament and a Power 5 tournament.
Is there kind of now? Is that the NIT? Because they didn't even do the CBI this year. They canceled it.
Yes and no. I think that the problem is that if you truly split it, then a lot of the Cinderellas are still those teams that get automatic bids from winning their conference tournament. That's where those Cinderellas come from. Those are the schools that you might not have heard of that then make the tournament. If all of those schools are out because now you just have, they're all facing each other in a different tournament, then you're definitely losing that Cinderella aspect. And you're just watching the Power Fives beat up on each other.
That's part of what we don't know yet is what does that look like for mid-majors? What does it look like for those Power 5 schools that are getting these bids, which we assume, by the way, a lot of assumptions with this. And by the way, it's not even passed, but nonetheless, making a lot of waves today, the NCAA tournament expanding from 68 to 76 teams.
All right. I've been waiting all morning for this one for you, Trev. Would you rather bring the makings for a spaghetti dinner or the makings for taco night to a baseball game?
Spaghetti's easier. Just fewer things. Tacos, I don't know about your taco bar at your house, but when Amanda puts on a taco bar at our place, it's intense.
So let's go meat, cheese, salsa, sour cream.
Still too much. All I need is noodles and sauce. If somebody grabs a jug of the old Parmesan cheese, which I don't really use a lot of anyway.
Oh, not a big Parmesan cheese guy, huh?
I'm not. I just don't need it. I like spaghetti a lot. It just doesn't like me. We rarely eat it. When the boys were young, I don't know if you ever did this, and if it's not too late since your boys are young, we would put a tablecloth down on the table, dump noodles in the middle of the table onto the table, then put a whole bunch of sauce on top of that. We would let it cool.
Yeah.
And you cannot use utensils. You have to eat it with your hands.
Oh. And
the boys loved it.
Yeah, had the time of their lives. Yeah. I honestly
cleanup sucked.
Cleanup sounds awful. I honestly don't know if my 9-year-old would want to do it. My 9-year-old would probably be like, no, that's going to make such a mess. I hate cleaning up as it is.
Why do I think Jordy was 10?
He'll be 10. He's still 9. 10 in October. God, let's not rush that. I don't need.
Really?
Yeah.
Says the guy. My son is driving to school right now for the first time by himself.
Yeah, I know. And I don't know how you're doing it.
Not well. Amanda, worse.
I mean, look at the thing with this argument, though, with the spaghetti, they had noodles in a bag, sauce in a bag, meatballs in a bag, cheese in a bag, garlic bread in a bag. They still had 5 items that you're bringing and putting together. The tacos still might not be that difficult. For me, it's all about the eating of it. The tacos, you don't need the silverware, right? It's handheld. Either way, you got to be careful of spilling it on your jersey. But that's fine. You go on spaghetti.
It's a lot less building.
Sure.
Nachos, different story.
Okay. So break the shell. Make it nachos. Does that change it?
No, I need a microwave. And I also need like liquid cheese.
Oh, fancy. Needs his queso. Okay. Interesting.
13 runs with 1 home run or 4 runs with all home runs. Both times the Brewers win. But chicks do dig the long ball.
4. You say you're going to give me 4?
4 runs, which are all off of home runs. Could be 1, could be 2, could be 4. Or do you want 13 runs like we got last night from the Brewers in a 13-2 win? Just 1 home run from Sal.
So I'm going to go 13 runs, but only 1 home run because you didn't clarify if those 4 runs were all 4 separate home runs. And if I'm seeing 1 home run that is a grand slam, but then that was it. That's still only one moment. I could have been getting nachos and missed that. So give me the 13 with 1 home run. I have a very similar one. Would you rather see the Brewers win 3-0 or 10-7?
10-7. I guess I like the action. That's why I would also choose 13 with only 1 home run. Action, baby. Back and forth. Keep me in my seat and keep whoever I'm with from saying, hey, we should leave early. What do you think?
I would usually tend to agree with you, but right now my brain is so terrified because that means that our pitching is still struggling. And I see that going, we probably had a lead and then blew it and then had to come back. I wouldn't mind. I like the idea of a shutout. I would like to see this team pitch a shutout and still put up 3 runs. The team's accomplishing what they need to offensively and seeing that our pitching is locked down. I love that. I think I'd probably go 3-0.
Did you catch it last night during the game when Jeff and Vinny brought up cribbage? So we all know they have this standing season-long cribbage tournament. There's T-shirts, there's trophies, there's smack talk. And last night there was a conversation about winning or something along those lines. And Vinny goes, hey, speaking of that, you want to bring up cribbage? And Jeff goes, nope, nope, not at all. Nope, no. So in a two-parter here, my first question, although it's not would you rather, do you know how to play cribbage, Josh?
I don't. I know.
Well, then I guess this conversation ends there because I was going to say, would you rather play cribbage or sheepshead? You know how to play sheepshead?
Nope.
Where are you from?
Don't know how to play either. So,
Euchre?
Nope.
Dominoes?
Yep.
See, I don't know how to play that.
Okay. Perfect. Yeah, so I guess if I was going to learn one and play it, I guess I would prefer cribbage over sheepshead.
Just because flip a coin or?
Yeah, I guess just flip a coin. I mean, also the fact that Jeff is like so into cribbage. I'm like, all right, that's a vote for cribbage. You know, I know a few friends that I have a few friends that are super into cribbage for some reason. So I guess that would be the way I'd go. But
would you rather Chutes and Ladders or Mousetrap?
Ooh. Chutes and Ladders.
You ever play Mousetrap?
Yeah, I have.
Real good time.
It is a good time.
Except when you have that one kid freak out and then chuck everything and it's all over.
Right. And it takes a lot of time to set it all up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, would you rather, speaking of being with kids, would you rather have a sick spouse or a sick kid?
Would I rather have a sick spouse or a sick kid?
So your wife's sick at home or your kid's sick at home?
I feel like I know that this isn't how the game works, but is puke a thing? Because I think that matters.
Question is, would you rather have a sick spouse or a sick kid?
I think I would rather have a sick spouse because then us 3 boys can take care of mom and make dinner and do all the things that mom unequivocally will not let us touch because she's the best. And there's no arguing that. And let's be real, the whole man cold thing is a thing.
Yeah.
It also goes to teenage boys. Women are built different. So I would much rather have Amanda be sick because let's be real, she'll get over it within minutes and we won't even notice. Whereas if my boys are sick or if I'm sick, I probably need a week off of work.
Yeah, I'm definitely the opposite. And maybe it's based on the age of your kids because especially if you've got a little one who's sick, they get sick all the time. But when mom's down, the kid still runs to mom. So now not only are you trying to take care of the kid, but now you're having to play defense against the kid who wants to go to mom. Double duty.
Yeah, my boys know better.
Yeah.
Don't look at her. Don't talk to her. Don't touch her.
Yeah, maybe that comes with age. Right now in our house, that does not exist.
Well, I got to be honest. When the boys hit the teenage years, there are other things to worry about.
Well, yes, that's true.
Would you rather wake up at 3:30 every morning for your job or work third shift?
Ooh. I would rather wake up at 3:30. Third shift is tough. I had some friends that worked third shift for a couple years, and whenever their schedule allowed to where we would still see them, it would still take a full day for them to be able to get their sleep schedule to be with us for 2 days before they'd have to switch back. And they spent that whole time just complaining about how tired they were. So while I've never worked third shift, I could not imagine doing that life. I know a few people that do. It's not easy.
My alarm goes off at 3:30. This morning on the way to work, I passed my buddy who's a doctor. I've talked to him on before, Dr. Gibson here in Green Bay. I passed him on the way out of our neighborhood because he was just on his way home from working his first of 7 12-hour overnight shifts in a row. That's how it works for those dudes and gals. 7 in a row, 12 hours a day, overnight, and then they get off 7 days. So to your point, how do you do that? How do you flip back and forth? And I can tell you right now, when he's off for that week and he shows up at my house at 9:30 on a Friday night for a bourbon, buckle in, boys. We're going to be here a minute.
Yeah.
Because the guy is not tired.
Right.
Where I'm like,
yawning by the time he gets there. Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, the weather sucked a lot, Trev. Would you rather have heavy rain or heavy wind?
Oh, miserable either way.
Yep.
Oh, I guess wind because you can still go outside in the wind. But cold wind, wind.
I'm going rain. I'm going rain because the wind seems to knock out power. It's the one that causes damage with trees. I understand the rain is going to make your sump pump work super hard to make sure that you don't have flooding, but the wind is the one that causes the big damage. We had, I think it got up to like 65 mile per hour winds near the airport down here a couple days ago. And that was like nuts. The amount of people that were without power. There were videos of trees just falling on cars. It was insane. I'd much rather take the rain.
You ever fly in high wind, like take off or land with high winds?
No.
Horrifying.
Yeah, I don't do that.
Mm-mm.
I don't like
I'd
that at all.
rain for that, but man, feeling that plane and the turbulence and the many a would you rather question on the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line 414-677-1250. We love your participation as you do every day. If you've got some for us, get them in. We'll answer them when we get back from break. We're live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Would you rather get drafted by the Bears or the Vikings? Gross.
Ugh. Bring your cravings. Wendy's will bring the rewards. Download the Wendy's app today and start earning rewards. Wendy's rewards are fast, free, and full of flavor. Get 200 bonus reward points and a free 10-piece nugs just for signing up. Earn points on every order and trade them for fries, burgers, and more. Earn free eats faster than you can save fresh, never frozen. Loyalty has never tasted so good.
Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh on a Would You Rather Wednesday. Many a feedback, many an answer, and many a question on the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line, 414-677-1250. In regard to the tournament, many people are saying, hey, the more the better. I love it. The more tourney games, the better. That's from the 906, who also goes on to say, if you don't like the early games, don't watch them. I will.
Okay, that's good for you. I like this one from the 262 that said, the kid or spouse being sick is such a tough question for exactly the reasons Josh mentions. The kids only want mama, and distracting them is a full-time job. Also, I'm glad I'm not the only one that willfully admits I am a whiny when I get sick. And when my wife gets sick, it's almost like nothing changes. So it goes, so I'll take my wife getting sick. That's Bennett in Brookfield.
Amanda would say, ooh, I'm not feeling well. Oh, that sucks. Go to bed. Go. How long has this been? Oh, man, this is like day number 4. I haven't been feeling well. Huh?
You mean for the last... What's that now? Right.
If I sneeze once, oh, God. Oh, God.
Yep.
I got to go to bed.
Yep.
See you in 4 days. The 262, 100% the taco bar over the spaghetti. All right, you do you. Sounds good. Meatloaf to a Brewers game. Let's do that.
Interesting.
Somebody asked me there on the Nicolay Law Talk and Text line, do they still do a cookout at Legion Park in De Pere on Thursdays for Thursday night softball? The answer to that is yes. And it is the most glorious thing, Josh. Every Thursday, most Thursdays, there is a full cookout. Each team has the responsibility to do a cookout on a Thursday night for the entire league.
Nice.
And people from the neighborhood come out of the woodwork and all of a sudden like softball and they go through the line. It's an amazing community piece. Love it.
The 912 said, how about walking tacos for the tailgating? Eating all the taco stuff out of a bag of Fritos or Doritos. So let's say that the tacos were essentially the nachos, but they're all in the bag. So you're just dumping the stuff in the bag, smashing up the chips.
I just don't want to.
I mean, you're pouring it in, though.
But there's a lot of loose items, cheese and all the things get all over. That's where you might be able to control your boys better, because teenage boys eating tacos is a hot mess.
Yeah, it's going everywhere.
Everywhere.
Hey, this is a great one from the 843. Would you rather the Packers add prime Charles Woodson to their roster or the Brewers add prime Josh Hader right now?
Charles Woodson, it's not even close.
Yeah. And that's hard to say considering the closer troubles. If we had Hader in his prime, like we did when, he was killing it, that would definitely help this team.
A lot of votes for Sheepshead instead of cribbage. You got to have the right amount of guys, though. I've played 3-handed Sheepshead. Boring. 5-handed is where it's at.
Oh, totally.
There's all sorts of different ways, though. Yeah, you have no idea what I'm talking about.
No clue.
Would you rather pitch a no-hitter or hit for the cycle?
Pitch a no-no. Absolutely.
When Patrick got up there in the 80 pitch-ish range in the 4th inning or so, I was like, I want that. Even if he goes no-hit through 5 or even starts the 6th with no-hit, there's no way they're going to let him go. That's the most annoying part of baseball to me, is I love the pitching performances, especially the no-nos, but getting a no-no is really, really few and far between now, even more so than it used to be, because they just don't let these guys pitch that long.
No, that's why, remember when the Brewers got their combined no-hitter because they didn't let him go the entire game? I hated that. What did one inning? That one extra inning would have absolutely killed it. You had to bring in another guy. The idea of a combined no-hitter to me is a joke. It's nothing in comparison.
Is the reason a no-hitter?
It's a combined no-hitter.
Is it a no-hitter?
It's a combined no-hitter.
You can't answer. Would you rather? No, I can't. It's not a no-hitter.
Right.
I don't think it's a no-hitter.
It's a combined no-hitter. You have to have that.
I didn't know. Why is that do you have to have that?
Well, yes, because then otherwise people will call it a no-hitter. And it's not a no-hitter. It's a combined no-hitter. Multiple people pitched a no-hitter.
But when the Brewers threw their combined no-hitter, they said it was the second no. I just don't think
I know.
it's
They said it's the second no-hitter,
annoying.
and I argued. I said, no, it's not. It's the first combined no-hitter. There's only been one no-hitter in Brewers history in my mind.
Would you rather have your son get drafted by the Bears or the Vikings?
Yeah, this is the worst question.
I have a pretty clear answer for this is lose-lose.
Right.
All right. So now let's go a few more layers.
Okay.
What's your answer?
I guess I'm going to go Vikings.
Why?
Because the Bears are just the worst. And their fans and just everything about I can't.
It's the Vikings for two very simple reasons for me. Number one, all of the games at home are indoors.
Okay.
So screw Soldier Field in the winter.
Fair.
And number two, the only place that Delta flies from Green Bay is Detroit and Minneapolis. Direct, baby. Doug Gottlieb is next on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. I am an eternal optimist. So please, God, don't tell me that you're an eternal pessimist.
I like to say I'm a realist.
Oh, it's great. We're going to get along great. This is going to be great.
This is Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh.
Crowd is here, about to blow, waiting for me to start the show. Out the curtain, lights go up, I'm home. Whoa!
First base side of the rubber.
Oh, here's Sal. Get out of here. To center field, sinking fast, base hit. Here comes Frelick. It's a 2-run single for Ortiz. Black line drive back up the middle. 1 run's in. Terang's coming home. Huge hit for Tyler Black. Liner base hit. That will score 1. Hamilton stops a slight bobble. The Brewers put another quarter in the merry-go-round. On the ground left side. That'll sneak through. 1 run's in. Ortiz coming home. Busted bat. Little flare. Behind second base. Down. Everything's coming up, Brewers. Bowers into right center. That'll be 2 more. Contreras will score. Terang scores. Hamilton slices one down towards the left field corner. Fair ball. It hops up into the seats for an automatic double. A snowman in this 6th inning. They put up 8. 13-2. It's all Brewers tonight.
Hopefully it's all Brewers today and tomorrow, too. Let's get a series win. Maybe even a series sweep.
Boy, would that be nice.
Too much to ask.
Maybe.
Audio courtesy of Brewers TV. What's up, Wisconsin? Happy Wednesday. And welcome to Hour 3 of Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor Thomas and Josh Albrecht.
Hi.
Live from the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook. Joining us now on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Look at you. No hat, hair's done, ready for the day. Not the office, dug out. What's up, Kiki? Happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday to you guys. You ever watch like the Brewers and you do the whole like, no, 13-2, save it. Save it. We need some of those runs, right?
Yeah, I did that last week.
It's one of those, I was having this discussion last night or 2 nights ago with a couple friends. Or like the things we all say that literally make no sense. And that's one of them. Oh, save it. Like we can go like, no. Let's not get hits tonight, guys. I know it's all flowing. It's all good. But we need to save those hits, okay, for the rest of the series. But we all say it. We all do.
As a head coach of a mid-major basketball team in this country, on a Would You Rather Wednesday, would you rather 68 teams or 76 teams?
76 teams. I mean, we've already gone over the 64, and these are all play-in games, whatever. I don't know. I mean, listen, I've never made the tournament as a coach. Just because they're going to expand it doesn't make it any less awesome to make it as a coach. It just doesn't. I hate to now like go put on a coaching hat and sound like coach, but literally there's 365 teams. There's way more teams than there were, back when it was 64. There just are. And all we're going to have is a series of another site of play-in games, which is what the play-in originally should have been. That's what we're going to make it. Again, just keep making it low-end, high major versus mid-major, and I think you can end up winning this thing. The bracket sort of remains the same. These just become play-in games. I would say 76.
So that's okay. What you just said there is very interesting. Filling these extra at-large bid spots in the tournament. Do you really think that they're going to award more of these to mid-majors that deserve it in comparison to the argument that this is just to satisfy the Power 5 schools to get teams that don't deserve to be there but pay the bills to get their name shown on national TV more?
It's not an argument. It is just to pay the bills. I mean, let's just kind of be honest. It's not for anything fairness sake, Josh, okay? So it's and I think we've discussed this before, but I'm going to help you guys out with sports radio segments in the future. We're not going back to 154 baseball games. We're not cutting into how many NBA games there are. There are never going to be less NFL games. Okay, there's never going to be less. Okay, because the more games, the more inventory, the more valuable you are to TV, the more money everybody makes. It's demand and demand more than supply. Like, we just got to have more. And the most valuable thing in television continues to be live sports programming or live program of any kind. So it's valuable. You know, are we exhausting its value? Are we squeezing the orange so there's nothing left? Of course. But make no mistake about it. We're not going back. There's not going to be less games, and it is all about the money. Now, your question's a good one. Are mid-majors going to get another, 5 bids out of it? No, we're not. But we might get 1 or 2. That's it. I mean, Josh, it is to pacify the Power 5. It is to keep this thing together. If you don't keep this thing together, it becomes anarchy, and the Power 5 breaks off, does their own thing. Some of that is just threats. Some of that is a reality, which there's enough of them now. There's a great enough gap money-wise that you got to keep it together. So I'm in support of the sport sustaining itself. I'm in support of surviving this kind of undocumented, unmeasured NIL era. I love the NCAA tournament. I want to coach the Phoenix in the NCAA tournament. But I'm also very realistic in that it's not for us, but we can still benefit from it nonetheless. We can still get another one, a team in there, 2 teams in there, and that actually is a win for mid-major and low-major college basketball.
Okay, but just the same way, DG, that we gave the NIL a little bit and now it's grown into what it has. What's saying that to satisfy the Power 5 schools' desires to get more in there, and we add this, okay, we now we go to 76. What's saying it stops there and it doesn't keep going to 84 and 100 and blah, 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 because they open that door a little bit and they're just going to keep pushing it more and more open. What's to stop it?
I would say nothing, but there is the reality of championship week. Okay, so remember, the NCAA makes all of their money on the NCAA tournament. Conferences make all their money on conference tournaments. So the more you expand, the more you run into championship week. And championship week is incredibly valuable to the entirety of the sport. So I'd say championship week is what survives or what keeps you from getting to 96 or getting to 100 and whatever teams, 128 teams. I think championship week is what really helps you. Now, that doesn't mean that the NCAA doesn't eventually push for it, because I don't believe the NCAA benefits from championship week, right? Championship week is a lot like the bowl season, right? The NCAA gets nothing from the bowl season. Zero, zip, zilch, nada, right? The schools and the conferences do, or actually the schools do. The conferences get from the conference championship game. That's why the conference championship games, even though they're not needed in college football anymore, that's why they still exist, because that's what the conferences need to sustain themselves. So my better than guessing statement is what's saving us from 128 teams or 96 teams is championship week. It wouldn't surprise me, though, if the NCAA pushes the envelope, because I don't think they benefit very much at all from championship week.
Doug Gottlieb joining us on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. DG, coach hat off, dad hat on. Rhodey got his license yesterday, and I am not well. Oh, don't give me that. Why? You're telling me when your girls got their license, knowing that your son isn't there yet, right?
No, my son's there. He's 17.
Oh, I thought he was younger for some reason.
He's got a 4Runner, dude. I got him the dopest car ever.
Jeez.
Ever. Dude, I hooked my son up. I was at Bergstrom. Shout out to Bergstrom, right? I was at Bergstrom, and I was getting something done to my car. And I'm walking around and I saw like a 2016 4Runner. And I thought to myself, dude, this is last year. It was right around this time, because it was in March. He didn't get it right in March. I was like, 16-year-old me, if I get one car that would last forever, right? Everybody knows, like, there's 4Runners that just like, how old is that car? I have no idea. It's just a tank. It just lasts whatever. So he got a 4. So okay, so I have 3 that are on the road. 3. You want advice? Is that what you want?
Yeah, listen. We get this morning. He drove himself to school for the first time. Okay,
awesome.
He got his license Monday.
Yeah,
and he's driving to school this morning.
Yes,
and our school is 20 minutes away from where we live, and we have options: country roads or I-41. I'll give you one guess which one we chose. Country roads, and we say, "Hey, Bub," that's his nickname, Bub. Hey, Bub. Just let us know when you get there, okay? Mom's not good. I'm not great. Just let us know when you get there. You think he let us know when he got there? Absolutely not.
Don't you have like Life 360 or something else?
Yeah, we do.
He does.
Part of the responsibility.
He does.
We get one job.
Trevor, tell him what you realized yesterday. Thanks to that,
we allowed him to drive to the park and ride to get on the bus yesterday, thinking that was a good start. Like, hey, bud, get up early, be on time. Life 360 told us he went 63 and a 45 yesterday, to which last night he says, after his mom got to him first, that lucky SOB, I was like, bro, what are we doing? He's like, Dad, I pulled out in front of a dump truck and I had to gun it. You're not helping. Stop talking.
Plead the fifth. Plead the fifth.
Wait, so
Where are you?
Hold on. So you tracked the entirety of his drive to the park and ride?
No, I watched it back because you can play him back on Life 360.
And how long was he going 63 and a 45 for?
I did not take the time to go, oh, that was only for 5 seconds. Didn't notice, just saw the number and went, what are we doing?
Hey.
You're telling me you were just fine the first time they drove? Because am I alone on
Trevor,
this?
you're going to have to let it go, dude. You're going to have to let it
like
go.
He's not going to have any problem with that at all, Doug. Yeah, he's right on. He's right on doing that.
Leave me alone.
I mean, look, I don't know how to tell you this, but he's going to bunk into somebody.
Yeah.
Like I have 3 and they're all really good drivers. But let's see. Harper flipped a Yui by my house and my brother had left something out in the street or something and she clipped it in her car. Otherwise, she's gotten into no fender benders that I'm aware of. But again, she goes to college, so she may so. But she's a pretty good driver. She drives a lot. She's driven all around the country with the tour stuff. Grace kind of got sideswiped, but Grace didn't drive when she was 16. She didn't drive till she was about 18. She just wasn't emotionally ready, and she knew she wasn't. So she didn't even get her license till she was like 17. Of course, I'm sure, and as you can imagine, the other 2 didn't say anything, didn't talk to any trash to her about that at all. And my son, I mean, did he hit something? Somebody in his school kind of backed in. They backed in at the same time, kind of bunked in or something or whatever. Like, it's gonna happen. I don't know. I mean, all you got to do is if he's going 65, then just take the keys from him.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah,
I mean, like, I get it, but you're like a wreck over something. Like, you got the license, you give him the car. Like, I don't even know what you're supposed to do. You gotta let them learn to be adults. They're gonna make mistakes. You got to hope that all the things you did beforehand. Honestly, it's a lot like coaching. Like, you can't go like, no, run a play every time. Like, let him go. Trust yourself. You did a good job parenting. He's a good kid. Okay.
Did you see this text that just came in? Okay. Not helping. Hate to tell you this, Trev, from the 920, but country roads, way more dangerous than the freeway. Takes a lot longer for first responders to get to you.
That's funny.
If Trevor had more hair to lose,
I know we're going there. I mean, the whole thing, though, like, dude, the spying on him, you got at some point, you got to, like, call it because there'd be some time like, hey, how come you're parked at that one spot for 30 minutes?
Oh, trust me. He's gonna end up learning things he did not want to learn for sure.
Oh, God. I'll be fine. Where are you? There's palm trees in the background. What are you doing?
I'm in Cali, man. About to get some coffee at 6 a.m. It's great. But I'll be back tomorrow. I got to be back to Wisconsin tomorrow. So, I mean, where do you think I am? It's beautiful. It's just absolutely beautiful out here. And yes, there are palm trees.
Yeah, we're happy for you. You're not recruiting either. You're just chilling.
No days
It never
off.
stops. I work. I'm working nonstop, but I just work from remote right now. So that's all.
Okay.
We're happy. We're happy.
I'm studying the Dodgers.
Because last time you were out there, I think it was a bit of a dicey. That's early. Buddy.
No, it was dicey. I got a chance to. I was hanging out with Bruce Pearl 2 nights ago, whatever, and he was quizzing me on. It was really cool. It was a dinner. It was me, Bruce Pearl, Jamie Dixon, Jim Herrick, the former UCLA coach. Oh God, what's his name? Brian Hamlin, who used to coach at NIU. Anyway, we're out here for this thing for Bruce, and he was talking kind of like old school Horizon, what it was like when he first got in the league, and kind of all the rivalries. And I didn't realize that he got his job. He took the Southern Indiana job because Bo Ryan encouraged him to do so. Of course, Bo Ryan and him were friends back from when he's at Platteville. There's a lot of Platteville connections. Anyway, so still doing the job, just doing the job out of the office.
Good.
Sounds good.
Yes.
All right. So then one more before we got to let you go today. One segment, Charlie, today. Aaron Nagler from Cheesehead TV is coming up next.
I love Aaron. He's my man.
Yeah. We'll say hello for you. We asked you last week, and I think I know the answer. But I would choose, and I'm curious to know, Josh, and I want yours, the walk-up song conversation.
Oh, yeah.
What intro song are we going to have? Now, DG, if there's anything that you choose other than Toby Keith should have been a cowboy, I'd be shocked.
And you know what should have been a cowboy walking up to the... No. If it's a walk-up sound, you could do Cowboy Kid Rock, but I probably wouldn't do that one. I don't know. Gosh, you should have sent me a text last night. Hey, remember the walk-up?
Okay, sorry.
Because there's so many good walk-up songs.
Then we'll just choose one for you next week. When you join us back on Wednesdays at 8 a.m., we're just going to play one for you.
Just think about it. And then even if you want to surprise Trevor, just think about it. This is your homework assignment for the week. And then text me. And then I will load it up and we'll have it ready to go. And we can get Trevor's live reaction to it. You got a whole week.
Trevor, what is your walk-up song?
Don't have one. Never thought of it, actually. The idea was the intro song for you here on
No,
Wednesdays.
I understood the concept fully, but again, like none of it is. I'm just asking you if you have one. Josh, you have one. What's yours?
Mine is "The Power of Love" by Huey Lewis and the News. Comes out hot. Bam, 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 bam.
We're aware. We all saw Back to the Future. We were live when Back to the Future came back.
I'm just clarifying why that's my
the power of love. Fun fact: this is who I am. I'm Cliff Clavin. Okay. Did you know that Huey Lewis? I think he has a hearing problem. Right. That's one of the reasons he doesn't tour.
Yeah.
Can't hear. He lives on some crazy, beautiful ranch, like in Montana. I'm going to say. I don't know, but he can't hear well. So there you go. Biggest rock band on earth.
John Fogerty.
Is it
center field? Put me in, coach. Yeah, but if it's a walk-up song, you're already in, coach. Put me in, coach. He's already at bat.
Already
now batting for the Milwaukee Brewers. Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play today.
It's a good point.
I'm already in. Like, it's redundancy. Department of Redundancy department. You guys, I gotta have a little soul, a little funk to mine. Like, I gotta get people shaking.
Yeah,
a little bit. I gotta get some swagger from because I'm gonna strike out. Right, there's gonna be some high cheese. I'm like, oh my god, I can't hit that at all.
Yeah.
So I need at least some swagger between like when I get the donut off. It's all a timing thing, right? Let's just be honest. Baseball is not necessarily the coolest sport, but there is something incredibly cool about getting the donut off, okay, and then striding to the plate with the walk-up song. They introduce you now batting for the California Angels, number 44, Doug Gottlieb, right? Like, or when if you're in Yankee Stadium where the old announcer would say your name twice, Derek Jeter, right? But that knocking the donut off of your bat, striding to the plate, digging in, hold up, I'm not ready yet, give me a second, and then you get into the batting stance, right? And you do that Mike Trout thing where you watch the first pitch, even though it's right down the pipe, and you're like, how does he keep watching it? There is something really cool there. So you need really cool music. Should Have Been a Cowboy is a great song. It does not walk up song. Put Me in Coach, cool song. We all remember the music video. Sorry, it's before you, Josh. Yeah, this is not walk up song either. But I mean,
No, it is. It's my walk-up song.
Hey, is Nagler there in the background by chance?
Yeah.
Pop him on here.
Oh, God.
What could go wrong?
Everything.
Hey, Aaron Nagler, Doug Gottlieb, Aaron Nagler. You guys.
Oh my gosh, it's Doug Gottlieb. How are you? I
we
love that
taking
you're
the
like
segment
in
off?
your car, just opining on music on a sports radio talk show.
They
Nothing's
brought it up.
changed, Doug. Nothing's changed. It's
they
great.
Aaron, they brought it up, and they're like, Power of Love and Put Me in Coach. It's embarrassing. What are we going to do with these guys?
Tracks. What are you talking about? Those are some fine
Thank you, Nags.
musical nods to some true
Would you
greats.
have either of those as your walk-up songs?
Power of Love, 100 billion%. No question about it. I wouldn't do Put Me in Coach only because that's associated with baseball, mostly associated with the game of baseball, and I'm not a baseball guy. I love the Brewers, but I talk football. So I would do Power of Love, especially since Jordan Love is the starting quarterback of the Green Bay Packers. 1,000,000,000% Power of Love.
But he was talking about his personal walk-up song.
Well, look at the man. Look at, is he not the personification of the power of love? Look at Josh.
Gosh.
Billboard.
The best.
Billboard, Power of Love.
It's good to see you, Doug.
DG.
Hey, it's good to see you too, Aaron. We'll talk football. These guys, just disappointed. I thought you'd have. I mean, I guess my dependence for swag. How about the fact that Nervous Nelly over here is like tracking his son's every move?
You got to find a way to throw shade at him on the way out.
This was my idea, too. This was my idea.
Yeah, this is all I do.
Well, he's like, what do I do? My son's driving. Well, you have two choices.
Yeah.
Okay. Either not let him drive or let it go.
Let it go. Yeah.
There's my walk-up
I mean, that's
song.
it.
Let it
That
go.
That is
Let
it, though.
go.
I get it's nerve-wracking, but at some point, you trust him or you don't.
Yeah, well, maybe after day 2 we'll trust him. Happy Wednesday, DG.
See you guys.
Love you,
Bye,
buddy.
Doug.
All right, Nags, we got to pay some bills, but it's Aaron Nagler from Cheesehead TV when we get back. It's Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. And on that Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Our buddy Aaron Nagler from Cheesehead TV. Nags, thanks for jumping on, boss.
This is his walk-up song, by the way.
Thanks for having me, guys. Yeah, and for catering to my musical tastes. I love it. Appreciate it.
Did the draft cater to your Packers taste? That's the first question. Only
God,
6
you're
picks.
Good. God, you're good.
And
That's so good.
oh, thanks, I think.
Well
I think,
done.
unless you're throwing shade. Then
Well,
then not so much.
that's a transition. I threw the ball up there, and you just took it and ran, baby. I love it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Appreciate it.
Oh, good.
Did you love the draft? Did you love the draft?
I did. I loved it. I think they addressed a lot of needs. They kind of went the route I thought they were going to go last year. Remember last year we went into the draft thinking they definitely need a cornerback or two, definitely got to address the defensive front. And then they took an offensive lineman and 2 wide receivers with their first 3 picks. And it was like, well, okay. But this year, yeah, they went and did the do. You know, they got the couple of corners, one really talented guy in Cisse, and obviously addressed defensive tackle and edge. I mean, yeah, they pretty expected for the most part. And then absolutely adored Goody jumping up in that last spot in the 6th round to grab the kicker. If for no other reason that meant the Packers draft was over and I could wrap work up early. It was good. I liked it.
Nags, it kind of felt like that was the same thing that Goody had planned of, I got a tea time to hit. Let's get out of here.
Well, no, in their case, it's getting after undrafted free agents early.
Well, sure.
Yeah,
I did think it was interesting because as much as Goody came out and just said, right, like, hey, we didn't see any value. Yeah. We traded up to get this kicker and then called it because there was no value here, which was really telling to me because Goody in this organization has always loved trying to find that diamond in the rough, give him as many
100%.
opportunities as possible. Do you think in any way, shape, or form that's a telling sign, though, of where our expectations should be with anyone that comes from this draft class?
Yes and no. I think the thing that's kind of driving that, right, and I think you guys probably heard this a bunch leading into the draft as far as the depth or lack thereof. There wasn't a ton of sizzle to this draft class. The meat of it was there right in the middle between rounds 2 and 4, essentially. So I think by the time you get to the 7th round, you're thinking, yeah, every guy I sign in undrafted free agency is going to be akin to or similar to whoever I would have drafted in the 7th. But yeah, as far as their contributions this year, this class is going to have probably few opportunities to get on the field, start, be major contributors. I think the obvious kind of exception to that is Cisse, simply because of where the cornerback room is. But outside of that, I talk about this seemingly every day in the offseason at Cheesehead TV, but so much of the draft gets built up and the expectations are so big from the fan base and from observers. But people got to remember the contributions from last year's draft class are going to go way further when it comes to trying to compete for a Super Bowl championship than anything you're going to get out of the rookie class. And that's not to say that a guy can't jump up and surprise you and possibly be a major contributor. But more often than not, you should be expecting big contributions from guys like Matthew Golden and Anthony Belton, way more than you should be expecting big contributions from this draft class.
Aaron Nagler from Cheesehead TV joining us on Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh. What about contributions from Lucas Van Ness? Are we going to take that 5-year option, that 5th-year option this Friday or no?
Right. It's the deadline's coming up, and you've seen around the league, a lot of teams have started to pull that trigger, right? The Packers almost always bring this down to the wire. They're almost always kind of take their time, pontificate about it, talk about it, etc. I suspect they will, simply because of where they're at, with their edge room, with their front in particular. The one kind of maybe pause they might take is the fact that they are once again switching defensive schemes. Maybe they have some misgivings about his role in what they want to do with Jonathan Gannon. But outside of that, I think, yeah, it's fully guaranteed. It's a chunk of change, but it's market value for a guy you've had in the building now for, 4 years, that everything he's about. And I got to say, it's really unfortunate that he missed as much time as he did last year. But when he was on the field, he played pretty darn well. Obviously, I know the expectations are sky high, or at least they were, because he was the 13th overall pick. But I think he's a good football player. And I think they'd like to keep that, in the mix, so to speak. And I think the easiest way to do that would be to pull the trigger on the 5th-year option.
Next, one of the things that I think we were expecting in the draft more than a kicker being drafted was a backup quarterback being drafted.
Right.
We didn't see that. And Trevor and I have had a lot of conversation this morning and in the past week about our expectations for backup QB. They've definitely been skewed because of what Malik Willis brought.
A little bit, right?
And then they don't go and draft a guy, we talked to Bill Huber. He said he wouldn't be surprised if it was the 4th or 5th round that they could see a backup QB going. Signing another guy undrafted, having 3 in camp. What are your expectations for the Packers at backup QB? And if something, God forbid, happened to Love, do one of those guys end up being the guy, or do they still go out and get someone?
Yeah, I mean, there's a ways to go yet, right, in the offseason. And I think they'll, as Brian always says, it's 365 as far as what they're doing in that job, looking under every rock, so to speak. But, man, look, they got Desmond Ridder in the building. He has starting experience. He started way more games than Malik Willis had when they traded for Malik, right? And, look, I'm not going to sit here and, pound the table for Desmond Ridder. But I'll tell you what, when they traded for Malik Willis, I wasn't very high on that move. I thought, Malik Willis had some nice tools. I liked him coming out in the draft, but certainly there was nothing in his time in Tennessee that would have led you to believe that he was going to play as well as he did in Green Bay over the last 2 years. So I think if there's a group that's at least been given, or should be given the benefit of the doubt, it's this Packers offensive staff when it comes to developing quarterbacks, between the work they did with kind of Aaron Rodgers at the end of his career, helping him win 2 MVPs. Then you do draft Jordan Love, and you've really seen his growth. The development there is undeniable. And then the work they did with Malik Willis, hell, what did they have him in the room for a month before he had to start a game after not being in town all offseason? So, I know Desmond Ridder is not something that excites people, but to paraphrase Howard Mudd, the old offensive line coach for the Colts, that's why Peyton Manning took 100% of the snaps. Because if Manning goes down, we're screwed, and we don't practice screwed. It's somewhat similar. And if Jordan Love goes down, yeah, they're probably in trouble. And we have been living large with Malik Willis being able to come in and do as well as he did. But the other thing is, don't forget the Drones kid. You mentioned the undrafted free agent. I'm fascinated to see him at camp because I do think, my friend Justice pointed this out, I think he's there to kind of help replicate some of the athleticism in opposing quarterbacks that you're going to see. A guy that you can put out there and practice on the practice squad or on the look team, so to speak. And he's got the athletic ability. You're probably going to be facing Kyler Murray twice a year this season. You're going to be facing Malik Willis when he comes to Lambeau with the Dolphins. So I think he's going to help replicate some of that athleticism, the outside the pocket stuff that, you're not really getting from Desmond Ridder. So I think that's where they stand at quarterback. But they're always going to be looking. Again, when they traded for Malik, I don't think anybody had that on their radar. I know I didn't. So who knows where they're looking.
Nags, you mentioned benefit of the doubt. You and Corey had Ed Policy on Cheesehead TV, who apparently did not have any doubt about renewing Matt LaFleur and went in depth about that. We played some of the audio on here. Were you surprised by that answer from Ed?
Not really. I mean, it's something where I know and he kind of referenced this, the way the season ended, that lead they had in the playoff game that they completely blew. And that second half was very frustrating and hard to watch. And I know how hard that was to kind of get out of our minds as fans, etc. But, the way, and he's talked about it a little bit before that, as far as looking at the totality of Matt's tenure in Green Bay. Yeah, I really wasn't surprised by it. The one thing I was thinking about it afterwards, and it's like, okay, we're looking at the totality, right? And I get that idea and the work he's done with his quarterbacks. Again, that's a feather in his cap, zero question about it. But I do understand some of the fan misgivings when you look at the last 2 years in particular and the way this team has come up short against the better teams. Not performed well against playoff teams, against teams that have had winning records. It's been a bit consistent, and the fact that they have had to kind of squeak into the playoffs the last 2 seasons is noteworthy and frustrating. But when Ed Policy is looking forward and he's talking about keeping this group together, I think they've got a window here, but 2 or 3 years is my guess, right? Nobody knows what those extensions are, officially. They're not reported. They don't disclose that. But I got to think, the discussion has been, all right, we've got, 2 or 3 years here with this group. You got Jordan, you got Micah, you got Matt, you got Brian. We're doing all this together as a core. And after 2 or 3 years, if we haven't made a deep run, then it's probably time to turn the page. But that's
okay. One more
away
then.
at this point.
One more off of that before we let you go to get to our break and our final segment. Should those three, Russ Ball, Goody, and Matt LaFleur, they're together at the moment. Should they be?
I think they work really well together. I was interested to see if Ed was going to shake things up and maybe reshape the power structure, put Brian Gutekunst back at the top of the football chain, so to speak. But I do think it's probably difficult to go that route once you have established this working relationship, this way of working over a number of years, and might be difficult to then turn around while negotiating with Matt LaFleur and say, oh, by the way, this guy who you've been peers with is now going to be your boss, and he's going to be calling the shots, etc. I think they like the way it works. I think they have found a good commonality, but there's enough, I want to say, positive tension probably. And I think that's, a workable, good thing, a productive thing. But, again, that's how they're going for now. And I think if Ed gets to a point where he sees, okay, this isn't working, or we're just butting our head against the wall over and over again, then probably 2 or 3 years, he may address it again.
So interesting. There's some people that say that they think if it doesn't work out with Matt, that Goody would get one more head coach.
I mean, only Ed can answer that, right? I think I could see that. I could see him wanting to completely turn the page. It all depends on how it plays out. And here's the other thing. The NFL is not for long. And we're sitting here talking about the last 2 years, maybe 3 in particular, when after they traded Aaron and they ripped the Band-Aid off and they went super young, the last 3 years have been kind of one phase, in my mind anyway, right? And now this is the first year where you've seen them make decisions where, okay, we're letting guys like Romeo Dobbs and Quay Walker walk out the door. We have ready-made replacements, or we've traded for them, whatever. And now they're starting to identify the core from that group, from that very young group that started 3 years ago, whether it is they just paid Jaden Reed, they've paid Zach Tom, we know Parsons and Love got their big deals, probably going to extend Tucker Kraft, probably going to extend Christian Watson. That's your core group. I think a big part of this is Ed wanting to let Matt and Brian finish the job with this core group. So whether that things change in a few years, that's entirely possible. But right now, I think that's the design, right? Like keep going with this core group because you've seen how talented they are and how the upside is undeniable. They got to get a little bit luckier with injury, and they have to close these games out when they're up in the fourth quarter. Those are the two big things that you got to watch for in 2026.
Nags knows. Check him out on Cheesehead TV along with Corey Benke, all things Packers all the time. 365. Nags, we appreciate you jumping on, man. Again soon.
Thanks so much for having me, guys. Take it easy.
Thanks.
Aaron Nagler, Cheesehead TV, the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network guest hotline, powered by Gruber Law. One call, that's all. Nags knows. Trademark it. We'll cross over with our friends from 9 to noon with John Kuhn. I think it's Rami today. Is Rami back?
Yes, sir.
Rami Makloff joins us next on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Those studios powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook.
Hey, did you know that any youth sports player can score a free small classic Frosty anytime they visit Wendy's in their sports uniform? That's right. Just stop by after practice or with your team after a game. Who doesn't love a Frosty?
Inside Wisconsin Sports with Trevor and Josh, welcoming in Rami Makloff from 9 to noon with John Kuhn and him, Robbie Makloff. Dude, this was a news dump day. So much to talk about, so I don't want to steal your thunder. Pick one and give us your thoughts. The tournament expanding to 76, the Brewers winning 13-2, the NBA trying to fix the flop deal or whatever you want to call teams tanking.
That is a lot. You know, I didn't even realize how much there is until
you're looking at your rundown. You're going,
reeling it off.
You're welcome.
Keep going. Yeah, I didn't know what we were talking about on the show today. Thank you, Trevor. I appreciate that. What else? What else you got for me?
The Packers need to choose Lucas Van Ness's fifth-year option by Friday, and they also signed a whole bunch of undrafted free agents that are going to make their debut in rookie camp this weekend. You know what? Why don't I just fill in for you? You close the show. I'll do that.
There we go. Well, or you could ask him about the most important topic of the day, which is, would he ever consider bringing a full spaghetti dinner into American Family Field?
I'm actually efforting one of the guys who was part of that party that brought the spaghetti into the park. So
I really hope it's the guy that wore the white.
We're working on it.
Top.
We're working on it. We're working on it. Honestly, that's my favorite story of the day. A bunch of dudes bringing a full spaghetti dinner into AmFam Field in separate bags, and one bag with the noodles, one bag with the sauce, one bag with the meatballs, one bag with the garlic bread, and somebody had the plates and forks. Like that is
they knew what they were doing.
That is a well-coordinated crew right there.
So Josh is worried, though, that this is going to be a ruining trend, and this is why we can't have nice things.
Does it not feel like someone's going to push the envelope and be like, let's bring a full seafood dinner in, and then the next thing?
I had the same thought. Both that, like, what else are people, what other kind of, like, are people going to try and do a crab boil? And
right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, the corn and the potatoes and the crab and the lobster. Also, how many people now are going to be showing up to AmFam Field with bags of spaghetti? You know what I like? It could go either way. People could try other things, or the trend could just take off of people bringing spaghetti dinners into AmFam Field, and you're just going to see people lined up with bags of spaghetti.
Hell yeah, spaghetti night. Spaghetti night at the ballpark.
Somebody's going to die from a shellfish allergy because somebody brought in shrimp.
Yep.
And then we can't have any sandwiches anymore.
Thanks a lot.
But I thought that was a nice win for the Brewers last night. If you want to get into the baseball or the sports of it all, I think they needed one like that. I think Brewers fans needed one like that. Tim was on with us last week, and he'll be on with us. Or no, he was on yesterday too. He's on every Tuesday. But last week he said, not only do they not win easy, this team not only do they not lose easy, this team can't even win easy. Like every game, they get your heart rate up. And last night you got one where you could sort of kick back and relax after the sixth or the seventh inning, and look at social media content about spaghetti in the park.
We all need those type of nights.
Yeah,
could be worse.
No, that was good. That was.
What do you think of 13 runs with just one home run?
That's what this Brewers team is. That's what they do. That's how they score runs, and it will be until you start getting some of their power bats back. And that's another piece of actual news we're going to talk about on the show today in between spaghetti talk, of Churio and Andrew Vaughn starting their rehab assignments, and Christian Yelich probably going to, hopefully within the next couple of weeks, start his rehab assignment. So the cavalry is coming, and maybe you won't have to get 14 hits to score 13 runs in the coming weeks. But yeah, that's just who this team is, Trevor. They're not a home run hitting team, and even when they're at full strength, they're not a home run hitting team. They find ways to score runs though, and it works. Like it works, and it has worked for a couple of years now under Pat Murphy.
Josh has been talking about this for days. Last night was a great example of when the hitting was there, the peckering, if you will, from woodpeckers was there, and so too was the pitching staff stout. That was a complete game for the Brewers last night.
Yeah, that was as complete a game as we've seen from the Brewers, maybe all season, but certainly here in recent memory, as they were going through it a little bit. They had lost 4 in a row, 11 of 16 before putting together these back-to-back wins. So
more of that.
They needed that, and I think Brewers fans needed that on a number of levels.
9 to noon with John Kuhn, Rami Makloff up next on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network. Those studios, powered by the Potawatomi Sportsbook, are thanks to Doug Gottlieb on a Doug Gottlieb Wednesday, 8 a.m. That's the plan, Stan. Sometimes he's here, sometimes he's not. Today he was, and he'll be a regular moving forward. Also, Aaron Nagler, appreciate him jumping on from Cheesehead TV. And all of you on the Wisconsin Sports Radio Network, Nicolay Law Talk and Text Line. We appreciate you. 9 to noon is next. We'll see you tomorrow, Wisconsin.
Because we're not done yet.